Hello and welcome to SuperLady Hero Hour here on FANVERSATION. I am Yael Tygiel. I'm joined as always by the beautiful, the talented, the incredible Kay-B. Hello.
Hello, my talented, lovely, fantastic co-host. How are you?
So good. It's good to be back. We're finishing up season 1 of SuperLady Hero Hour and season 2 of Doom Patrol. But we've got lots to talk about. Yes. All right, let's jump into this news. For those who missed it somehow, Wonder Woman's coming to HBO Max on Christmas. For those who don't know, that's December 25th.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I had to look that up. So that's happening. But then that's not all. Warner Brothers decided that they are releasing all of their 2021 movies, allegedly, on HBO Max. Let me read to you which movies are, for now, slated to come out in 2021. That is The Little Things, Judas and the Black Messiah, Tom and Jerry, Godzilla vs. Kong, Mortal Kombat, Those Who Wish Me Dead, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, In the Heights, Space Jam: A New Legacy, The Suicide Squad, Reminiscence, Malignant, Dune, The Many Saints of Newark, King Richard, Cry Macho, and Matrix 4.
Literally everything under the sun, which I'm not mad at. I mean, I kind of felt like this was the direction that they were inevitably going to go in. Once they announced that Wonder Woman, I was like, they're probably going to do the same thing, which is because they are releasing on HBO Max, but these films will also have a theatrical release. I think that like people are still missing that. Whatever that theatrical release looks like, we don't know. But it will be some sort of theatrical release. But on that exact same day, you can watch at home. And so this means that finally the Suicide Squad, we will definitely get to see it next year, which is great because HBO Max obviously has the rights to a bunch of different TV shows that are tied into the Suicide Squad as well. So we'll get that. And maybe this means that we'll get the TV show sooner than later now that, the film is going to HBO Max. I mean, I'm not mad at it, to be honest. Like, I'm kind of like, this is the wave of the future and the future is here. So yeah, here we are. Let's do it.
I agree. This is the best idea. It's genius. Why did it take so long to decide this? It's like they thought this would be over.
Did we think this would be over? Yeah, I'm curious to see kind of, though, how other studios follow suit. Naturally, I think everyone is trying to figure out if Disney is going to follow suit. I think that's the biggest one because Disney has so many films ready to go, particularly Marvel films. And they're already dropping WandaVerse in January. So I am curious if they're going to try to do the same thing. Everyone knows how I feel about them doing it for Black Widow. But just being able to do it with everyone else is like, all right. So we're going to see what they say. I mean, because ultimately, it is still a loss financially for the studio in terms of having these big budget films go to HBO Max. But something that just happened, though, is HBO Max cut off that 7-day free trial. They said, nope, you're going to have to pay for it because we are dropping literally all of the heat in 2021. So you're going to have to pay for it. And I'm actually not mad at that because I'm like, they need to recoup something for sure. So.
Yeah, I think it's very much the right decision. I think it makes sense. I think it's smart. I think it tells me as an audience member that they care more about my safety than profit. I know that's not the truth, but it makes me feel like that's what they're saying. And I appreciate that. Well, it's not. They do not care about my safety more than profit. So I appreciate this move. I think it's so smart. Disney should literally just release Black Widow. They should just not tell anyone and put it out there and see what happens. That's what they should
do. I mean, like a surprise drop. Yes, but also a surprise drop with the Eternals because that is really the one that I want to see right now. So surprise drop that. then I am all in for sure. Surprise drop that tomorrow, people. Okay. In other news, Peter Dinklage has signed on to be the Toxic Avenger in this reboot. Now, I will say this reboot has been like literally years in the making. I feel like years.
Really?
Yeah, but he signed on, so now I feel like it's actually gonna happen.
So yeah. So for those who may not know, the original movie from 1984, it subverted the superhero genre. Everyone keeps saying the way that Deadpool does. And it's about a 98-pound weakling who falls into a vat of toxic waste. It matures him into a hulking monstrosity. With his new powers, the now toxic Avenger, nicknamed Toxie, protects the people of his town from crime and corruption. The thing is, I've seen the drawing of this character, and it reminds me of the way that Peter Dinklage's character in Game of Thrones was supposed to look. He was supposed to, be a little bit more unappealing to look at. And now they're putting Peter Dinklage in another character that is supposed to be a little more unappealing to look at. And Peter Dinklage is a good-looking man. So I kind of am confused about this decision. But that said, I know that this original movie was like a cult classic and it had 3 sequels and an animated spinoff. So I'm okay. If this happens, I'd like to see what they're doing, but are they going to make Peter Dinklage unattractive?
I don't know, but I hate the nickname Toxie. I really want to say that because it's terrible. Yeah, Peter Dinklage is handsome, and but I don't know what they're going to do in terms of the CGI or the makeup or whatever they decide to do. I just hope they don't call him Toxie. Like that mostly is what I want, because that is the worst nickname like on earth. So please don't do that.
I actually don't mind it.
Oh my gosh, I hate it. I'm like, please, Doxy. Like, oh my gosh. No.
All right, let's move along to TV things. For those who somehow missed it, DC CW verse is just adding on more projects. Which is wild because they canceled Black Lightning. I mean, yes to new projects, but I'm still not over this Black Lightning. So yeah, it's odd that they keep announcing new stuff. Anyway, so this is about Naomi, depending on how she wants to pronounce it. Ava DuVernay is going to be doing this one. She's developing this drama for the CW. It follows a teen girl's journey from her small northwestern town in the heights of the multiverse, with a supernatural event shakes her hometown to the core. Naomi sets out to uncover its origins, and what she discovers will challenge everything we believe about our heroes. I am not familiar with this character at all, but I do like Ava DuVernay. I like what she does. I love a female-led show. I think it sounds very CW-y. It sounds like Nancy Drew. That's what it sounds like.
It does in a lot of ways. Yeah, I mean, I love Ava DuVernay, period, in general.
Yeah.
But particularly for Queen Sugar, it is hands down one of the best TV shows I've ever watched in my entire life, and definitely on TV. So I am like, come on, Ava, come on over to the CW, which is the network that I clearly work for but do not get paid. And so I just am like, give us everything, Ava. Like, come on. So yeah, I'm not familiar with Naomi either as a character, but you best believe I'm gonna do my research, because come on, little black girl. So yes, for sure, I'm all in. I mean, Ava, give us everything. I trust her. So yeah. In other news,
with this announcement, I put up a poll on Twitter because this and Wonder Girl and a new Batwoman, like, we just keep getting new super ladies, and so I posted up a poll. If you have a new super lady that you're most looking forward to, find that on Twitter.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. Okay, so now to Hawkeye. Y'all, I'm not gonna lie to you. I actually forgot that I forgot that Hawkeye, the series, was happening because I'm so consumed with the film side of the MCU that I truly, that and WandaVision, and since, like now I have my date for WandaVision, so it's really all I can think of. I forgot about Hawkeye. And so, but surprise, they had like all of the news this week because it's filming right now in New York City. So Haley Steinfeld is really kind of the biggest news, I guess, that it's finally confirmed, because at first it was just a rumor when they snapped all those photos, and now it's 100% confirmed. Yeah. Hey, welcome to the MCU, Haley Steinfeld. I am curious to see what this is going to look like with her being Kate Bishop. We also see, because people have just been snapping photos. Honestly, though, like now is the time if you are a photojournalist because no one is outside. So please go walk to the park and get all these, photos in New York. Basically, Hawkeye's family is also alive, maybe. I don't know. This could be a flashback, but we will see Hawkeye's family again. And they were a casualty of the snap. And so, yeah, we're going to see Hawkeye's family again. So,
the other casting, in addition to the confirmation about Haley Steinfeld, is Alaqua. That's
Cox.
Yeah, Cox.
Yeah, I think it's Alaqua.
Alaqua Cox, who is a deaf Native American actress and is going to play the character of Echo, who I believe is a deaf Native American character, which it's one of those things where throughout the years you've heard like it's impossible to find people. Apparently not.
It's truly never impossible.
Yeah.
And so here we are. But yeah, she's a daredevil. Her name's Maya Lopez. I know nothing about this character, but this intrigues me. And I will say that, like, I'm not ashamed to say that Hawkeye's probably my least favorite Avenger, just in real life. So also probably the reason why I forgot about this show. But
honestly, they really, like, everyone was talking about
casting really well.
Yeah, the casting's going great, but it's reasonable that you forgot. Everyone's talking about Loki, and they were talking about the one with Sebastian Stan and WandaVision. Like, everyone was really excited about Falcon and Winter Soldier. Like, all of those. I know people who were big Hawkeye fans, and even them, they weren't talking about the show. And so I also forgot that it was coming.
Yeah, like, truly. And also, I wasn't excited, but the casting actually makes me excited and I'm intrigued. And so I'm like, okay, I mean, I definitely was still going to watch it, but like just saying he is my least favorite Avenger, but I am like, yay. So I come on, more casting, give us more authenticity. That's what I'm always here for. And so, hopefully it happens.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm really looking forward to this casting as well. To see, I mean, maybe this show will make me like Hawkeye more.
Yes, maybe it will change my entire perspective on life about Hawkeye.
Maybe. In the meantime, there was some behind the scenes video that was released this weekend at CCXP.
Oh my gosh, CCXP was this weekend.
Yeah, so
whoa, I've been in a cave.
Is the behind the scenes video of our new Batwoman, Javicia. And
I love Javicia's personality.
It's such a fun video. I'm showing this one from Geeks of Colors Twitter, so you can check them out for it. But it's more like she's showing off the Batwoman suit. There's audio to it. You can check it out yourselves.
Shout out to Dorian at Geeks of Color, but also shout out to this mask that I clearly need. I need this Batwoman mask.
Yeah.
It's so dope.
And this costume, she just looks so good. She was talking about how it shows off the definition of her muscles, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm. I love this. I love this costume. It looks so good. Like, this is it. This costume is the one for sure. I'm so thrilled. I cannot wait for this show. And, CW, since you haven't paid me quite yet, but I clearly work there, if you would like to send me this Batwoman mask, that would be a dream. But
Yes. Other CW DC verse news, because there's still more, is David Ramsey is staying involved. So that's Diggle, for those who don't know, is not only, he's returning not only on screen, but he's also returning as director for a few episodes. So he's going to be in front of and behind the camera for Superman and Lois, for Supergirl, The Flash, Batwoman, and Legends of Tomorrow. So although, his show may be gone, he will still be around. And what's really exciting is I know that at the end of Arrow, there was a little tease about who he may actually be, which I know people have been talking about for all however many seasons of Arrow. So it's very exciting that he may get to play that role. I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say.
There's no spoil it. Because people can get on the internet and see that they want him to be the Green Lantern. That is what we want to happen.
Well, I didn't say it.
Well, sure, but I mean, like, Arrow has been done for a million years, and now it's like there are no spoilers. Arrow's been done. Yes, people have been championing for this, kind of on the internet for years. So people want David to become the Green Lantern. I think it's a fabulous idea. I don't necessarily. So here's the thing. The CW is expanding in a lot of ways, and we're getting the CW verse. We're getting a lot of different things. But I keep in my mind wondering how this is going to clash with the HBO Max titles that we're getting. And we know we're getting Green Lantern at HBO Max. And so I'm just, I want it, but I'm also like, oh my gosh, if we could combine these, like all of my dreams would come true. But I don't necessarily think we're going to get it combined. So if we're not, then please, bring David Ramsey back as the Green Lantern, maybe even give him his own show, since we're giving everyone their own show and on the CW verse, which I'm here for, definitely not opposed to. Bring him as the Green Lantern, give him his own show on the CW verse then. Why not?
Yeah. I believe you. I agree. All right, let's head into...
So yes, before we dive into Doom Patrol, please, guys, remember that we are new to this show, so don't spoil it, but really this is the end for Doom Patrol. But we're going to be covering some other titles that you may have already seen. So this warning is actually going to stay in place because we have also not watched Titans quite yet. And we want to kind of watch these shows, these superhero shows that everyone is doing. However, we are tardy to the party. So, please just don't spoil anything for us on Twitter about Titans for sure. But now, after this airs, please send us all of your comments and thoughts on Twitter about Doom Patrol, because now we are done. So,
yes.
That's that.
Oh, we're done. Let's talk about the last 4 episodes of the second season, because we started the season disappointed.
I ended it disappointed, so I don't know. I mean, there's really no.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have as many thoughts about this as one would think. I feel like I was forced to watch season 1. Like, this sounds bad, but I feel like, I didn't think I went in thinking I'm probably not going to like this. And then it is a kind of genre bending, twisty type wild ride. Mm-hmm. So I firmly was like, what's happening? But by the end of season 1, I was completely sold. I actually really, really enjoyed season 1. So I was hoping that season 2 would kind of continue in that same way. There is not a lot of zaniness that happens, particularly in these final episodes of season 2. Like, honestly, I can't tell you what happened. Like, there are some like, oh, okay moments, but it lost kind of its edge from season 1 for me in a lot of ways. I don't know. And so I was just kind of watching these final episodes like, okay. And I was intrigued in some things and, not intrigued by others. I still am kind of like, do I really care about Dorothy? Like, I mean, ultimately I get to the end and I still don't, if I'm being honest. I feel like Cliff in a lot of ways, where he's constantly just like, yeah, your daughter, all right, but like, why are we focusing on her so much? Cliff is me, like, the entire time I'm watching. Like, yeah, she's cool or whatever, but like, is the whole saga about her? Because I just need something else. So
Wow. Okay. I mean, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. That first season was zany and wild, and that was what I was here for. In these last 4 episodes, there was one thing that I felt was that zany wild thing. And it's the I don't even remember what they were called. The bugs that made you stupid. They were the zany and wild thing where there were bugs, the bugs that make you stupid. That's that needed your earwax. And then I was like, what the hell is the point of all this?
Oh, right. So I must have blocked that out because I firmly don't remember those bugs.
The queen, there was like a pink queen.
Oh, the pink people.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The queen bee.
Yeah.
She's called the queen bee. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they don't necessarily make you, I don't know what they
make you make bad decisions.
Yes, exactly. They just inhibit your ability to make smart decisions. Not necessarily dumb. I think that's why I was confused. I was like, what? Yes. Yeah.
Scants.
Yes. The scants. Yes. I mean, okay, I guess. Like, for me, I think like I just was like, child, what? But their costumes were on point though. So there's that.
I really enjoyed the like echo of the guys, the astronaut guys who were like the echo of whoever was. I was like, oh, they're wacky and silly, but they were pointless.
Yeah. But then they were dead. Yeah, it was like they were already dead, and then they're. I will say, actually, something that I did enjoy in these final episodes were like when they would daydream, but they would be shows. So like Stone and Steel, like when Cliff was daydreaming about them being a duo, I loved that. And then when Rita was daydreaming about them being a duo, I loved that. So I liked those little kind of like vignettes of them just doing the most ridiculous things in their daydreams. And it was like a nod to like blaxploitation. I was like, I really enjoyed that. And then I moved on.
No, I agree. Those were fun moments. I have to say, we have to acknowledge this season clearly ended unintentionally.
Was it clear? Because it wasn't to me. So I don't.
Because I stopped. It was like, great, I have 1 episode left. And then I was telling my roommate, and he went, no, you don't. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because that is not how it should. There's no way that's where it should have ended.
I didn't think their production got shut down. Also, to be fair, I wasn't paying attention to this show, in March. So I didn't know anything about their production being halted or anything like that. But I will say, it wasn't clear to me. I just thought this is what they chose. Like, I was like, well, you guys chose to end here. So cool.
I'm Googling to confirm.
I think that's what happened, but I don't know. I think that they just, It
is confirmed. It is what happened. Because
the one final episode, would it make me change my mind about how I feel about this season? I'm going to take a 100% guess and say no.
Oh, wow.
Unless like Chief and Dorothy both die. I mean, like, because I do remember like watching episode 9 and thinking, damn, we still got to do this story next season. Like, I'm tired of Dorothy. So I really am like, I just don't.
No, I agree. I really thought we were going to wrap up her story and she was going to be less annoying, right? Like, I would have even, the way that it ended with her, she got her period and is now growing up, that like a time jump of hers, like a growth spurt or whatever, where next season she's a teenager and is someone else that is less annoying, would be great. That's where I assumed. And now she's part of the team and like is literally someone else. I'd be cool with that.
It's so interesting that you like, I don't want her character at all. So you've created this scenario where like she becomes integral and she's older and things. And I'm just like, doesn't she die here? Like, I mean, like what? Or she like stays in this weird abyss or land with her mom. Child, I don't know. I just don't, I'm not invested in Dorothy enough to see her continue in any fashion. And then we know Chief is on his last leg. So like, I'm okay with that too. Like,
wow.
Okay.
I honestly, now that Chief sucks so much, I'm cool with him dying too.
And now that Cliff might be dead, I mean, you know, murdered by Jesus. I don't know, which is wild. That probably is the wildest thing that happened for me. But, you know, getting into that fight with Jesus and then, you know, I don't know if I can say murdered because he's a robot. So getting disassembled by Jesus, I guess, which sounds odd, but here we are. But otherwise, yeah, I just felt like these episodes, the best part of these episodes to me were Ronnie and Vic.
Oh, interesting. I got tired of her.
We are just all over the place in terms of, we are not on board in terms of what we enjoyed about these episodes.
I also will say the idea of this woman and her, the Moscow and her spirit, that storyline where basically she was like, yeah, you and yours don't talk to each other and are terrible to each other and you're a shitty partner. That's why you guys have this situation.
The negative spirit. Yeah.
And Larry being like, wait, you guys coexist and aren't killing people and like whatever. And she's like, yeah, what's wrong with you? I honestly like that a lot.
I do too. Yeah, because I was like, she's like, we're in harmony, and I don't know why you're not in harmony with your negative spirit, but you should probably work on that.
It really, like, I think made me remember what a shitty, like, he's shitty. He's not a good person.
I mean, neither of them are the negative spirit either, but Larry is trying. So for me, I actually enjoy Larry's growth this season because he really is trying to, you know, kind of reconcile not only with his family, but reconcile the things within himself that he's done. You know, like, I think that this season for him was about redemption and, you know, kind of figuring that out. And then it was really funny when he led the mission, you know, to the end of the world, because he's like, what, I can't lead this mission? It's like, no one's leading it. Everyone's going to die. Like, I mean, we don't need a leader. Just like, go to the mission, Larry. Like, we don't need you to do anything except for show up so that the apocalypse does not happen. But it's nice that he even thinks he's going to be the leader of this, you know, like he's evolving very nicely. So I actually think that's something I enjoyed throughout season 2 is seeing his evolution. I feel like Rita's growth in season 2 kind of stunted a little bit. Like, I felt like there was so much for her in season 1 and even in the beginning of season 2 with her kind of trying to figure out her issues with her mom. Mm-hmm. But then now all of a sudden it's just like her mom's haunting her, but it's going nowhere. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't need I didn't need this. Like, her uncovering it, I'm okay with, but the fact that it keeps.
Yeah, it should have been resolved by now. Like,
yeah. Also, I will say her decision that her character is the beekeeper makes zero sense with her powers.
One, because it's like, girl, shouldn't your body be as free as possible so you can expand?
Right.
And this beekeeper suit is really restrictive. I mean, that's mostly the first thing I thought of. Like, okay, girl, I guess. I don't know. Like, I feel like Rita also, they just need something for Rita to do. And I feel like there are a lot of different ways that we could utilize her. But right now, they're underutilizing Rita. It's still very much for me in terms of the women on the show, still very much for me, the Jane show. Like,
yes. Let's talk about Miranda.
So I'm not going to lie to you. I don't, the black woman who is Miranda in the underground, Because also now it is getting wildly confusing when they have other actors. Like I like that they're doing it, but I also don't like that they're doing it because then it's harder for me to keep up with like who's who. So the Black woman that is Miranda, which also I'm not sure why she's Black. Not that like it makes me mad, but I'm just thinking because when we like I'm like, is she actually Black? Like I'm still confused on if those people in the underground are like who they actually are above ground and we're just seeing it through like the lens of Jane, but whatever. So I'm confused about if because we saw that little snippet in 9 where the girl Kay is like, who are you? And she like basically tells her to be quiet. I'm like, is that her mother? Like what? It's because clearly it's not really Miranda.
So yeah, so let me take a stab at this. Okay, so the physical body in the real world is the grown-up version of Kay, because that's how DID works, dissociative identity disorder. So like Kay is the original person that was traumatized.
I know. And Kay is actually at this point, I don't know how Kay actually might be the oldest person in the group at this point because we saw that like she's born in the 40s. So I'm like, at this point, she might actually be the oldest.
Yeah, I think Jane said that to Cliff in season 1, but then I was confused as to what was happening.
Right, because I didn't know then, so I probably blocked that out.
So okay, so Kay is this body, this person. Miranda was the first personality to take over and like and be a primary and be instead of Kay. So Kay.
So Miranda's the first personality, period, though, I think. And she was birthed out of the trauma between Kay and Kay's dad, correct?
I think more than one were birthed in that moment. I don't think she was the first.
Oh, okay.
I think she was the first to take charge. Because if you remember in the baptism scene where they were trying to cleanse her, she kept changing personalities until Miranda showed up.
But that was when she was older. That's why I think Miranda's first. So when we see Kay in the well in this episode, she's a lot younger than that Kay that was being baptized.
Right. You're right.
So that's what I'm saying. So I think that Miranda is the first one, and I think she stems from the sexual abuse with the dad. Like I think that is the first time.
Sure. So then I agree with you that it's weird that they look different.
Because it confuses me. Like, and then I'm like, who is this?
I mean, that's why when the first time I saw Baby Doll, I was like, no, I don't like that. Especially because some of them are still look like Jane. Like that's what's even worse. Anyway, whole lot of issues. But so Miranda is now back in charge. I do like that backstory of how Miranda lost her leadership position and Jane took over. I think that was an interesting story. But now we have somebody else impersonating Miranda, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm like, who is this?
How
because she's
my question.
But also she has somewhat manipulated everyone else in the underground into believing, like, I just don't understand. Like, it's just, I truly don't understand. And so maybe they were hoping to resolve that by episode 10 and kind of give us more answers. Child, I don't know, but I just know by the end, my mind was legitimately hurting because I couldn't keep up with any of it. Like, I was like, who's who?
You know what's funny is I would really enjoy an entire show about Jane and her personalities. Like,
but I want to know how they came to be. Like, I need more background.
Absolutely. I think that I would watch that show. Take her out of Doom Patrol and give us a drama about this girl with, however many personalities.
Yes. I actually don't necessarily need a show. In fact, I know I don't need a show. So I don't need the show, but I need an episode, I think. Because they tried, but they didn't give enough back. Like, they did it when we went inside the underground for the first time in Jane's mind, but I was already confused. Like, I think they just need to start from the beginning, you know, and kind of give like a high level overview of how these personalities came to be, because there's obviously some other traumas that occurred along the way that also created some additional firewalls in the personalities, you know, that Kay put up, you know, in herself, due to some other things that happened. And so I can't, like, even with the scene with the sex party, which that man, like, and the fact that he thought it was okay to surprise her with an orgy in their house, like, it's fine, we're being free. What are you saying? First off, you were just like, we're having a housewarming party. A housewarming sex party? Like, that's something that you definitely should have told your partner, like, oh, can you clean up the house? We're just going to have a few guests over for a housewarming, but surprise, we're all going to be having sex. Like, wait, sir, wait. Like, so he clearly did that as a manipulation tool. So I see why Miranda came to be, because you clearly tried to manipulate her in this scenario by not telling her about this sex party. And then, you know, being like, oh, I'm just going to have to leave you because you don't want to do this. What? Like, what?
I think the thing that pissed me off the most is you literally met a girl who flinched when you touched her.
And then know what this means. Right.
Yeah, was a good idea. This was a good idea.
But then also threatened to leave her when she said she did not want to have an orgy, which also is like, I think for me, it was like, you sent out, I'm just, in my mind, is like, my guy sent out these invitations for an orgy. Literally, because everyone there knew they were there for an orgy immediately.
Absolutely.
So you already knew you were here for an orgy, but then you didn't tell the person who lives here on purpose, and then tried to manipulate her into doing what you wanted her to do because you want to sleep with other people. Child, when Miranda went off on him, I was like, good girl, please do, because he deserves this and more. But honestly, I thought she was going to kill him, but she did not. So I was like, oh, wow, Miranda has more control than what I thought was going to happen in this scene. But I also thought that's a missed opportunity for Doom Patrol, because she probably should have killed him. And
yeah, I definitely thought that there was going to be a murder there, and I was sad that it wasn't.
I'm mad that both of us were like, wow, no murder. So I was like, disappointed, no murder. Yeah, like, I definitely thought she should have at least murdered him. I mean, like, that's where I thought this was going. However, it didn't go there. But I understood why, you know, we kind of got to that point. So I don't know. Like, I felt like this back half of the season was very muddied. Like, I was like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Who are we going with? Like, what? I just didn't understand.
And unfortunately, I feel like because of the way the first season played out, I feel like we would have gotten all of these threads put together in the missing episode.
Oh, would you? I don't have that same level of confidence, to be honest. I mean, just because of the way these other episodes have been going, I can't say that I believe that we're going to get that. Like, the only thing I can say I think we would have gotten was Dorothy, whatever was going to be wrapped up with Dorothy potentially, you know, like, would have happened in episode 10. But I still think these other fragments and, you know, I don't know. I'm hoping with season 3 that they get back to the essence of season 1. And I don't know if somebody basically told them, like, y'all are doing too much, you need to scale back, you know, like, for season 2. But I feel like HBO Max allows for a lot of creative freedom. I've seen a lot of crazy stuff on HBO Max already. So I can't imagine that they were like, well, let me say this. That was DC Universe. So there's potential that with season 2 on DC Universe that they did say scale back. But now that they are on HBO Max, maybe they will be able to have kind of the level of creative freedom and foolishness that, you know, we kind of love from season 1 back.
Yeah.
Because, you know, DC Universe, maybe there was like a different audience watching, you know, maybe it was more access for kids. Whereas, like, I can't tell you a single thing I think is available for children on HBO Max. I mean, they probably do have a kids section, but like mostly it's wild. And I've been watching the craziest shows. So it's like, this probably isn't for kids. So hopefully we can get back to that with season 3. Cause I was just wholly disappointed. Like, my whole spirit is disappointed, if I'm being honest.
What did you think of the imaginary friend fights?
Again, the most shocking one was Jesus. Also the fact that, so I actually adore the fact that they called Jesus an imaginary friend. I laughed so hard when Cliff's imaginary friend was Jesus. I was like, what? And then when Jesus like is a badass, like Jesus like truly like destroyed Cliff. And I was just like, wait, like Jesus is really whooping up on Cliff. Like, what is happening? And then when he, when he's like, I'm not Jesus, and then kills him or destroys him, disassembles him, whatever we're calling it. That too. So yeah, I think the other imaginary friends were boring though, if I'm being quite honest. I mean, like Vix was basically his dad in a cowboy hat. And I was like, your imaginary friend is your father, but as a cowboy?
Yeah, that one was dumb. Rita's wasn't destroying her.
Shay, and they were dancing. So I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Most of their friends were boring to me. I was like,
yeah. I also don't know. It just feels like a dumb attack, I guess. It was disappointing. It was just disappointing. And then everyone's dead. Whatever. That's where it ended.
Yeah. I don't know what to say because I'm like, I just have no hope for where even episode 10 would go. First off, I didn't think there was going to be episode 10, so there's that. But then also, like, I have no hope in thinking that it would do all the things that I personally need in order to enjoy the end of this. So I've moved on to season 3 and my hope for bigger, better, badder, more, insane.
Yeah. Where on a scale from poop to kittens, where would you put this? That's right. We scale it, or we rate everything from poop to kittens and anything in between.
For me, it's not quite poop because, it wasn't like craptastic.
Yeah.
But it wasn't phenomenal. And, it was probably like a watermelon for me.
All right. Closest I can get for you is.
I was like,
bone.
So I sometimes enjoy watermelon, but it makes me sick. And so that's why I'm like, this is this episode for me. Okay. Like I enjoyed it sometimes, but like, honestly, I haven't eaten watermelon so long because I can't have it because I have developed some sort of weird type of allergy to it or whatever. And now it makes me vomit. So I can't, that's how I felt about these episodes. Like sometimes I liked it and I wanted to eat it, but most times I wanted to vomit. And yeah, so how about you? What's your rating?
I'm going to go with a sponge.
This sponge is actually really cute in an odd way.
Okay. I was going to go with a puzzle piece because I am puzzled, but I decided to go with the sponge because I like what a sponge does. But a sponge, once it's used, I don't like the smell of a sponge.
Oh yeah, no, because it's gross.
Yeah, so like,
and also you're supposed to throw them away after like every use. So
like, I like this show. I don't like what they did this season.
It was awful. Yeah, like this season was not it. It wasn't the one at all. So, yeah. So, what were your WTF moments for the last 4 episodes?
I think the scants were my WTF. They came out of nowhere. They took us nowhere. They did nothing.
They took us nowhere. I kept calling them Oompa Loompas, actually. And I feel really bad that I kept doing it. But really, in my mind, I was like, where's that Oompa Loompa going? And then I was like, this is not Oompa Loompa. But like, also, maybe it is. So my WTF was the fight with Jesus. I mean, mostly because he was like Mortal Kombat style beating up Cliff. And I was just like, what is happening in this scenario? Yes. So, any predictions for season 3? I mean, I don't think they're filming yet.
Right.
I'm almost positive they haven't started. I don't know what that's going to look like. I'm like, are we getting it in 2021 or will it be 2022? Who knows?
I predict that we wrap up whatever the hell this all was, and then start a new problem.
I predict that Dorothy dies, and Chief does too. And let's get some fresh blood in here.
I hope. I don't predict. I don't think it'll happen, but I hope that we get like an age up. I predict Dorothy will stay alive and be their problem.
I personally would take Chief over Dorothy. If we kill Dorothy and we keep Chief but make him suffer for everything he's done since he's become the most miserable person, then let's do that. But I just can't. I can't deal with Dorothy. I just can't. I'm sorry. All right. So who's your women performer of the week?
Performer of the week. Oh, that's such a hard one. I'm gonna go with you go first.
I have chosen Miranda. Jane.
Which Miranda?
No, I don't know because I don't understand them, so I can't tell you. But I will say that I've chosen Miranda mostly because of that badass scene where she told off her boyfriend. Ooh, I just wish it would have ended in murder. But also, which, gosh, that sounds so terrible when I said it out loud. But truly how I feel. And so I just think that like the complexities, the nuances of all the Mirandas, since I don't know which one's which right now, I think it's been really good. Just seeing that character growth, that character development. Oh, Miranda's a great cook. Oh, Miranda's trying to deal with the trauma in this way. Oh, Miranda got dethroned. Miranda was the one for me.
All right. I'm gonna go with the woman at the like gas station bathroom who helped Dorothy with her period. Because she was so helpful and kind. And the only thing I didn't like was her decision to be like, don't tell your father because they don't like when their little girls grow up, which like that's a terrible idea. That's terrible advice. But I did like the way she handled it, which was unexpected. And so I liked that a lot.
I like that she just treated her with so much kindness, but it also reinforced how terrible of a parent that the Chief actually is.
Yeah.
Because Dorothy truly knows nothing. And part of my annoyance with Dorothy is the fact that it's Chief's fault, really. Like, I'm mostly annoyed with her because she's this way, because he's such an awful parent. Like, that's mostly, like, she'd probably be more digestible for me if she knew more in the world, but she doesn't because her father is literally awful. Yeah. And so I'm just like, ugh. But I mean, the best part about Dorothy was when she ran away to space. Honestly, she could have stayed there, but here we are.
All right. Style icon of the week. Do you want to start?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Queen Bee. That outfit was bomb. It was banging. Like, I actually didn't pay attention to anyone else's outfits because I could have cared less. But I will say the Queen Bee's outfit, like, first off, pink's my favorite color. Mm-hmm. So, like, I already was sold, like, this girl's crazy. Look at this outfit. And also, I'm pretty sure they're made of bubblegum, which is why they're pink. But because like when they died, it was still kind of like sticky. And I was like, oh, I think that they're bubblegum, which also is intriguing. But basically, my girl was dressed like a star. I mean, like, it was the turquoise boots, everything, that dress, everything. I was like, everything. So yeah, Queen Bee.
I love that. Mine actually is the dress that Miranda wore to the orgy that she didn't know was going to be an orgy. It was so 70s and like her boobs looked really good. And it's a dress that I would totally wear. I really loved that.
I could see you in that dress. Yeah, I could totally see you wearing that.
Thank you. I 100% would wear that dress. And like with the long hair, it just looks so good. Everything about it. All right. Moving right along. Man, that's the end of our show, but we have so much to tell you. This is the end of season 1 of SuperLady Hero Hour. We will return with a second season in January. In 2021, where the world will be anew.
The world will be fresh, it will be better, it will be new. And when we return for season 2 in 2021, you guys guessed it, we're going to be talking about the network that lives rent-free in my mind. The CW and all of the CW verse shows will be back. So we are going to be diving into all things Batwoman, Superman and Lois, Supergirl, Legends, The Flash, Black Lightning's final season, and so much more. So yes, I mean, my goodness. And any other superhero show, honestly, that they throw at us on any other network, we're going to be covering. So come back in 2021 for season 2. We're going to have a new format. We'll have more guests. We'll have more surprises. Probably going to shock y'all with some talent interviews. All of the things. Yes. So just get ready.
Absolutely. Until then, Kay-B, where can everyone find you?
Per usual, Twitter, Instagram, at the Lady Kay-B. That's at the Lady Kayb. And, YouTube through the lens of Lady Kay-B, where I drop some interviews and, I have some film reviews and I do a little something. And of course on Twitter, I'm always plugging my things. I have a new interview that just dropped yesterday out with Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot about Wonder Woman 1984. So if you are interested in checking that out, check it out on comicsbeat.com. So what about you, Yael? Where can everyone find you? And what are you going to be doing over this lovely holiday break?
I'm everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. Through the holidays, I am not celebrating any holidays, so I am available to chat. If you find yourself alone or in a situation where you need to get away from family or just need to be heard, I will be available on social, Twitter, and Instagram because, again, the 25th, aside from watching Wonder Woman, I am available all day if anybody needs someone to talk to. So please, be safe, be kind to each other, take care of yourselves and each other. Wear a freaking mask and stay inside.
We want to end this so that way you can see Yael and I cover things in real life with real people on red carpets and beyond. And at conventions, because we miss cons terribly.
Yes.
So please wear a mask and stay safe and enjoy this holiday, no matter what it looks like. And I love that you're going to be available to chat with people. And I'm going to be around because honestly, what does the holidays mean right now when we've been at home since March? It just means that I'm at home with more Christmas movies. That's really what it is. So honestly.
All right. We'll see you all in 2021. Thank you for joining us. Bye.